Welcome back, Leominsterites, for us very, very special November episode of Representing Leominster. I am your state representative, Natalie Higgins, and I am thrilled to be joined with two very, very special guests, probably the furthest guests I've ever had, traveling from Moldova and Armenia, and they have been professional fellows in our office through the U.S. State Department for the last 3 weeks. We've got one more week with them, and it has been a pleasure getting to work with them and getting to know them. And so Eugene and Sovinar, thank you so much for, getting a little out of your comfort zone and coming on Representing Leominster. I'm really excited for Leominster residents to hear a little bit more about the work that you're doing, how you got involved with this program coming over to the U.S., and what you've been learning. And I will share a little bit about what I've been learning. So can you do a little introduction and just share kind of your role in your government and kind of a little bit of your path of how you got there. So, Eugene.
Well, it's great to be here. Thank you very much for very warm hosting us in Boston, at the Massachusetts side of Hayes, and here in North Leominster. Thank you very much. I'm a diplomat in the Republic of Moldova. I'm served for the International Law Department Division within the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Moldova. So I'm very proud to have among my countries of responsibilities the United States of America. In fact, we are strengthening our bilateral legal framework between the Republic of Moldova and the United States of America. And of course, we applied for this very prestigious program like Professional Fellowship Program is. This program indeed is very transformative, very unique, global, two-ways program, because you're not just learning within this program, but you're also sharing your expertise. And this program indeed brings people around the world, because indeed the world is very challenging now, and it is very important to be on the same page. It is very important today to stay united as never before. So that's why we are very happy to be under your supervision, dear Representative Higgins, at the State House in Massachusetts, Boston. And what I have seen during these 3 weeks, I have seen how indeed democratic institutions are working, how policy is shaped. And I was deeply impressed to see that you as representatives know very well the problems which constituents are facing. And I had the impression that you know every single constituent in face. You know this story of a problem, and you are doing your best to solve this issue. Definitely, I have to say, yes, this country has a legislative culture.
Well, thank you, Eugene. My favorite thing, and the one thing that we always try to instill with all of our interns, our fellows, our co-op students, is how important constituent services are for a state representative's office, right? Like having one foot in our community and one foot in the state house, making state government work. That is a really, really important thing, and the strength of our democratic institutions, making sure folks have trust in government.
That's right. That's right.
So, Vinar, can you tell us a little bit about your path to the fellowship?
Yeah. First of all, thank you for inviting us here, and thank you for hosting us in the State House. We are honored, actually, to be under your supervision during these 4 weeks. And as for the program, this is a unique opportunity for young professionals, for developing countries, especially from countries as Moldova and Armenia, which are in the transitional period. They are in the period of reforms and amendments, and exchange of experience and exchange of expertise is really very important for the development of our countries. As about myself, I work at the Anti-Corruption Committee of the Republic of Armenia. This is an independent agency which carries out investigation of corruption-related crimes. I work personally at the Department of Foreign Relations and Protocol Department. We carry out cooperation with our international partners, including embassies, organizations, international organizations, as well as organizations which carry out the same functions as the Anti-Corruption Committee does. This is an honor to be in the United States because in Armenia, this can be, I can continue, right? Just to give a background about Armenia. Armenia is a parliamentary country which has all 3 branches, executive, legislative, and judiciary. And the head of the country is the president, while we have also Prime Minister as the head of the executive branch of the government. And we have also a National Assembly of the Republic of Armenia, which adopts laws and also carries out oversight over executive branch. Anti-Corruption Committee is an independent investigative body, which was very young one. I should mention that it was established just in 2021 within the frameworks of action plan of anti-corruption reforms, and it's still we are still working on the development of the committee, and I'm very thankful to have the opportunity to also learn from the legislative branch of the U.S., to learn from you how you work on the transparency, you work on the development of the country and the development of the country.
And I think one of the interesting things, you both work for your federal government. I'm a state legislator. So some of the challenges have been like, how does your work at the federal level also like connect with our work at the state level? Eugene, is there anything you've shared a lot about the Moldovan governmental structure. Is there anything you want to highlight in terms of the similarities or differences from what folks might be familiar with in Massachusetts?
Of course, we do have some similarities and some differences because Moldova is a unicameral parliamentary structure. So we are a parliamentary republic, but we have 101 voices in our parliament, 101 members of parliament. But here, even at the state level, we have 200 voices, and I'm always curious how you can navigate listening to 200 voices, because you have 40 senators. We don't have senators in our country. We have just members of parliaments, and we have 160 representatives. So indeed, it is very inspiring how you manage to listen these 200 voices and still promote your bills and moving forward. Yes, we do have many issues in our country as well. We have local power. We have central power. Our local power. Working with European Convention on the local authorities, a very important tool, democratic tool. And of course, as in every country, we do have many issues to be managed, many things to do better, but we are progressing. We are, as you know, we are a European Union candidate countries, and we are aligning our legislative, we are aligning our structures, governmental structures and local central one to the European Union standards. This is very important for us, and of course United States of America is always supporting us, always backing up this European Union process. So I think we are doing very good. Together we are doing progress and just moving forward. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I'm so glad that the State Department continues to do these types of exchanges. Many folks know that I've gotten to participate in some exchanges through the State Department to visit with the governments of Taiwan and Morocco and Tunisia. And I just think that there's so much we can learn about kind of these global issues going on and challenging our governments and trusting government. But also learning from things. Sophie, I think you work for the anti-corruption unit, and one of the more interesting moments was we had a meeting about some issues and bills in front of the legislature, and after the advocates left, I pointed out, like, okay, so this person was the paid lobbyist and this person was his client, and both of you had remarked, what do you mean a paid lobbyist? That would be corruption, and we heavily regulate finances in campaign law and in legislative advocacy. However, we still permit it. And there are a lot of opinions about that and a lot of questions about how much does money influence our government? Like, what kind of power does that have? And that's kind of a constant debate that we're having in both our state and our national government about money in government and politics. And it's a challenge. And it was helpful for me to like take a step back and realize, like, oh, it could be completely unpermitted and banned in other places, because we think Massachusetts is a leader in transparency and limitations on it within the country, but internationally, like, we could be learning a lot from you two.
Yeah, and you're absolutely true regarding the project, this PFP project, this is not only opportunity for us for exchanging our experiences, this is also an opportunity to spread word about our countries, our culture and our heritage we have, especially for those who are small, for small countries. As for the differences, yes, the difference is huge here, and I was very curious from the beginning to understand which kind of tools you use for public transparency, for good governance, and of course the tools you use are totally different from what we have, but we are eager to learn from you and to take those approaches which correspond to those which we have. Anti-corruption sphere in Armenia is still working, for example, on the whistleblowing system. And I would also like to know what kind of system you do have here, how it works, and what kind of tools you use to promote whistleblowing system of transparency. For example, I know you have experience both in private, both in state and public sector, and how the public and state sector cooperate with each other, how you cooperate with NGOs, how you cooperate with local agencies to resolve those issues which your constituents have.
And you're going to get to meet some of those agencies today, which is really, really cool about you coming and visiting Leominster. And we've been really working to try to connect you with different parts of the state government that align with your work. So the State Ethics Commission, the Office of the Inspector General, the Auditor, all of our constitutional officers. We had a great meeting with the Secretary of State, and the Secretary of State handles our elections, which is like probably the most public thing that they're known about, but they also oversee our corporation registration, our nonprofits, our historical commission. Like there's so much more that fits just under his purview. And we're hoping that we can kind of pack in as much as we can in your final week. I can't believe we're coming up to your final week. But I'm really, really grateful to get to share a little bit of my home city with you, because you've heard about it for the last 3 weeks. So you just finally got to glimpse it in person, and we're going to do a little bit more of a tour. Eugene, are there any parts of the 3 weeks? This is Sophie's first trip to the U.S., but you've been here before. So how has this compared or like expanded what you knew about the United States?
Yes, indeed. I've been 2 times in America before. This is my 3rd time. I've been in 2010 and 2011. At that time, during my student time, it was very popular, such programs like Work and Travel. So I've been in Ohio in 2010 and 2011. I've been in Massachusetts, actually, on Cape Cod, yes, it was Cape Cod. I was living for 4 months in Brewster, Cape Cod. It was a great time. But what I have to say now, I have to say America is more beautiful than before. Everything is changed. I'm in another capacity now. I have an opportunity to see indeed how democratic institutions are work, to see this internal mechanism, which is very important. So at that time I was a student, I was not really very interested in these governmental institutions to see how policy are shaped. But now I'm focusing on this because of my career, because I'm interested to see how it's working from inside. And I would say, but in fact, the United States of America always was a good example for us, example of good governance, and you're doing very well in this. We're very happy to have the opportunity to learn from you and to get your full support in this. And that's why I'll never be tired to express gratitude to American people for supporting such countries like Moldova and all countries around the world. Also, as well as from post-Soviet Union, because we had a specific history, and we're always striving for improving our situation, for striving for democracy, and so on. This is very important for us. So thank you.
Yeah, I don't know that I highlighted, but the Professional Fellows Program, there are 35 fellows across the U.S. right now, 8 of whom are in the Boston area, 7 are at the State House, and so it's really special for us to get to host. To meet people from different countries. And I think one of the highlights of us is we kind of reached out early and said, hey, it's good work to host one person, but if we could host 2, it might make it more of a rich experience being able to share ideas from your own countries and your own governments. And so we were the lucky ones that got to host 2 of you. So I'll put that up front. But are there other things that you're hoping to see while you're here or learn about while you're here?
Well, I'll be very happy to have these meetings which are organizing for us to meet these people in person, because we know, in fact, at the institutional level how it works. But to speak with people, it's quite different situation and it's more enrichful. That's why let's meet these wonderful people next week, because indeed time is flying very fast. So next week I'm going to focus on this bilateral meeting and multilateral meetings, and of course we would like to share our story. I mean, we always like to share our story, our problems, our challenging, and to see this one from American perspective.
Sophie?
Yeah, to have theoretical knowledge is totally different of what you can gain during practical experience. That is what we are going to have at the end, I think, to gain knowledge, practical knowledge, to take with us to our countries and to try to adopt approaches which will help to develop our countries. As for the project, this is an opportunity to also to create network. Not only with the participants, not only with the direct hosts as the State House and the representatives, but also with the other agencies which will, for example, host us during the next week, or which already hosted us during this period. We can connect with them afterwards, we can work with them, we can exchange experiences even online, we can meet further and discuss maybe cooperation between our agencies. This is a huge opportunity.
Is there anything that surprised you about the Massachusetts State Legislature and how we function, or sometimes don't function?
No, we were very surprised. Well, we knew before about lobby in America, but we were very surprised to see how it works in practice, and that's why we was like wondered, is it kind of corruption or not? When the lobby is coming to the representative, to the legislature in the office and try to promote a specific project, this was wondering for us. This is different from our countries, but of course, it's different systems of different governmental system, different traditions of this, and as I know, you don't have a personal interest, because Sovinar can explain here. Corruption is very always what is a personal interest, but you are doing everything for your community, as I see it.
But I think it's a valid point, right? And this is some of the reasons why the Secretary of State collects all of the information about lobbying expenditures.
Yeah.
It's something that's made public. Anyone can go and look this up. Folks might not realize this, but you can actually go and see who is lobbying on what legislation and how much money is being spent, and it's reported on a quarterly basis. And I think that that is helpful for folks to understand, because unfortunately, sometimes, especially around ballot questions, some of those big statewide discussions can be really influenced by who has the deepest pockets, who is able to mobilize the most amount of resources and the most amount of people to tell their side of the story of the ballot question. And so these are some of the things that there are a lot of us pushing for more transparency about this, making sure that there's clear rules of what's allowable and what's not allowable, and understanding what some of the challenges are. And some of the challenges exist even in new technology. Social media didn't really exist when we wrote a lot of our ethics rules. And so we're grappling with, how does that play out when we're kind of connected to the internet on our phones? We're using social media to get our messages out. Folks are using social media to reach voters or legislators. Those are some challenges that we're still trying to sort out. Sophie, was there anything that surprised you coming to the Massachusetts legislature in particular?
I wouldn't say that surprised me, but that made me think even more deeper and try to analyze and to compare the legislation we have in Armenia with the one you have here, and to understand that while understanding the differences, you try to carry out what you can take from it. And I was very impressed by the transparency of the legislation, how you work, how you report, and I think this is a good example for the transitional countries to use and to implement in our government as
And
well.
some of those transparency measures that you've gotten to see with the public hearings and the committee process, those have evolved, especially over the last few years. So I'm in my 5th term. Some of the big wins that we had in the rules packages this term were things that we had been pushing for more than a decade, more than I have been involved, to really make it easier. And some of the changes, I think, just came organically through challenges coming out of the COVID-19 pandemic. We had been advocating, those of us who live further out from the State House, you've learned that my commute can be like 2.5 hours each way. Our constituents can't participate in committee hearings in the same way that the Boston area residents can participate in committee hearings. We've wanted public participation that could happen remotely. And originally we were pitching, like, could there be one place in Worcester County, in each county, that folks could drive to participate in the hearing? And we were met with a lot of skepticism and like that, those logistics are too hard to figure out. The pandemic created a situation where we all had to be remote and we all had to figure out how to build out that technology to make it work. And with that comes so much more community testimony, being able to log on to Zoom or Microsoft Teams and participate in a hearing process or a commission meeting. And I'm hoping that makes the People's House, which has always been kind of the closest part of our state government to the ground and to all residents, so much more accessible and participatory. We want to hear from folks. And you've heard, right, like we become jack of all trades, master of very few, because we're working with 6,500 bills. Yes. I really rely on Leominster residents to help me understand issues that they care about and issues that they have expertise in that I don't, because I'm not going to be an expert on every single piece of legislation that comes in front of me. So we're coming up on time. Is there anything else that you want to share? I will say I'm really, really grateful for you taking time. I worry that for the American education system, we don't always teach about other countries in the same way that we teach about our own history. And so if there's anything that you want to share with the Leominster viewers about your home, I would love to give you an opportunity.
Well, as I said from the very beginning, professional fellowship program is a two-way global program, so we'll be very happy to host you in Moldova and in our countries. Moldova is a country about hospitality, so we would like now to invite you in Moldova and to see how our mechanism is working from inside and to share our experience in place. Thank you very much. Deep gratitude for everything.
Thank you, Eugene. Sylvie?
Just to continue Eugene's words, we have deep hope that we are going to strengthen cooperation, bilateral cooperation between our countries, between our agencies, and we are full of hope that both of our countries are walking towards prosperity and development. And we are really very thankful for the opportunity, not only to participate in this project, but especially to be under your supervision and to learn from you.
Thank you both for taking some time to join me on the TV show and share a little bit with my residents about the work that you're doing. For everyone tuning in, thank you. And I'm hoping that we're going to have a part 2 to this, where I get to go and visit with both of these wonderful people in their home communities that hopefully will be happening in early 2026. And so hoping to have a part 2 to this. But thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you for the last episode in December. It's hard to believe that this year is wrapping up. So thank you all for tuning in.